Our story begins in a convenience store where we meet Hugo Otis, the Sagittarius saint, warning Lee Gun, our protagonist, that he will die tomorrow. Unfazed, Gun shrugs and, while munching on drumsticks in both hands, retorts, "You have no faith in me, Take Sue." Hugo, clearly irritated, corrects him, "It's not Take Sue, it's Hugo Otis." Gun simply laughs, ignoring Hugo's growing frustration. But then Gun's demeanor shifts, his expression becoming serious. He promises the saint, "I won't die. I faced monsters far more terrifying than all 12 saints combined." Hugo's face betrays his concern, but the scene shifts to the demon tower home to the greatest misfortunes and disasters. This is where it all began. On the final day of the 20th century, monsters suddenly appeared, threatening humanity and leaving chaos in their wake. Amidst the despair, 12 gods descended, offering their power to a chosen few, promising to help humanity overcome the crisis. 12 awakened were selected, each receiving the power of a god. But something unexpected happened. A 13th awakened appeared, one who received no blessing from any god. This awakened was so powerful that he surpassed even the 12 saints. That awakened was none other than our protagonist, Lee Gun. We cut back to the present, where Hugo thanks Gun for his help in a recent raid. Gun waves it off, grinning, "I don't need thanks. I need 5 years' worth of free fried chicken." Hugo frowns, clearly irritated again. It's Hugo, not Take Sue. As the banter continues, 2 of the saints discuss their impending rewards for exterminating the dreaded monster, Red Eye. Their conversation is cut short when they notice Gun, who casually puts on his mask. Lee Gun, one of the saints, calls out, "You should negotiate with us. We can fix that handsome face of yours." They smirk from a distance, evil intentions clear in their eyes, but Gun just shrugs it off, uninterested. Inside the cave, the saints stand in shock. Before them is the most fearsome monster they've ever seen, the Red Eye. The immense pressure from its aura shakes the entire tower. The ground cracks and lava bursts forth, engulfing the saints in a wave of heat. The sky itself is pierced by the fiery eruption. As the smoke clears, the saints are left trembling. A massive hole gapes beneath them, and Red Eye sits on its throne, grinning malevolently. 3 of the saints, consumed by fear, attempt to flee, but Gun is undeterred. Disappointment flashes across his face. Tightening his grip on his sword, he charges straight at Red Eye. We then see Gun in the midst of battle, facing hordes of disaster-class monsters. One of his arms is broken, but his resolve never wavers. His only thought, "I have to cut through them." This place, the monster's lair, gives them strength, allowing them to summon more beasts with ease. But Gun's gaze hardens. "Do you think this is enough to kill me?" He snarls, his eyes glowing with a fierce aura. Gripping his knife, he vows, "I will survive. And I will kill the saints who betrayed me." Time passes, and we see Gun walking toward a monster, his appearance now wild, resembling a caveman. The monster, terrified, seeks an escape, but Gun is relentless. Planting his feet, he raises his weapon. "It's finally over," he mutters. Suddenly, the cave begins to collapse. Exhausted, Gun lies on his chest, letting the rocks fall around him. The scene shifts to a ruined city. 2 men run, chased by a monstrous Volf. The creature leaps, smashing into a wall, trapping the terrified men. Gritting their teeth, they prepare for the worst. But then, something unexpected happens. The demon tower opens, its massive doors creaking as a loud explosion shakes the ground. As the dust settles, the men find themselves buried under rubble. Emerging from the center of the destruction is a figure naked, standing in the midst of the devastation. It's Lee Gun. He cracks his knuckles, eyes burning with vengeance. "All of the saints will suffer," he declares, marking the beginning of his revenge. The 2 men stare in disbelief at the figure in the center of the explosion. "What is that?" one of them whispers. Before they can react, Lee Gun punches a Volf monster in the chin and stomps another into the ground. The men are speechless, unable to comprehend the sheer power they're witnessing. Grinning, Gun effortlessly defeats the remaining wolves. He notices the two men and suddenly leaps toward them, scaring them half to death. "Why are you attacking us all of a sudden?" one of the men pleads, trembling. Lee Gun smirks and replies casually, "We're done here." Suddenly, the leader of the Wolf pack appears behind him, its menacing presence sending waves of fear through the two men. They're frozen in terror, but Gun remains unfazed. He smirks, further enraging the Wolf. The creature releases a burst of energy, unleashing an explosion so massive it shakes the ground. When the dust settles, Gun stands there, completely unscathed, looking like an unstoppable force. "You freaking mutt," he growls, leaping onto the Wolf's back, his fist charged with power. In one swift move, he punches straight through the Wolf's head, killing it instantly. The two men stare in shock as Gun lands gracefully on the ground, smiling. "It must really be over now," he says, his voice calm. He turns to the two men with a serious look, an aura of command around him. "Buy me some food," he orders, leaving them stunned. Then, with a grin, he adds, "and get me some clothes, too." Now in a food shop, Gun devours plate after plate of food, shocking the two men with the sheer size of the bill. Despite their disbelief, he casually orders another round of food. One of the men finally gathers the courage to ask, "Who are you, Hyung?" Gun, still eating, replies, "I'm someone who was inside the tower." The man frowns, but ... why can I sense magic power from you? The other man chimes in, "This boy is a Templar, blessed by a holy god." He turns to Gun, "Are you not a Templar?" Gun scoffs, "Why would I serve gods like that?" As he speaks, he catches a glimpse of his reflection in a spoon and freezes, rattled by what he sees. His body is face it's changed. He urgently asks for a mirror and, when he gets one, he pulls off his clothes to inspect himself. His body is healed, his wounds are gone, and to his shock, his left arm which had been amputated has grown back. He stares at his palm, noticing a strange pattern that begins to glow. Suddenly, pain shoots through his hand and a notification appears before his eyes. "You have experienced death. You have obtained an impossible achievement. Your existing stats are being inherited by your new body. All achievements from the tower are being converted into EXP. You have formed the divine skill." Finally, a last message appears. "You are now able to wield the strength of Ophiuchus." Gun closes his eyes and, when he opens them, he's in a different space, a vast, empty realm. Before him, a massive serpent looms. He reaches out, touching its nose, and a green light envelops them both. In an instant, he's pulled back to reality, his hand still outstretched. Confused, he looks around, trying to understand what just happened. The boy beside him touches his arm, asking, "Hyung, are you okay?" Gun shakes his head, still rattled. "Did you see a snake?" The boy frowns. "The only thing we saw was you taking off your clothes." At that moment, a window appears in Gun's vision. You have become the owner of the constellation Ophiuchus. More windows pop up, and one reads, "Super Regeneration Skill Activated." Your damaged body is fully recovered. Gun speculates that this is why his body regenerated so quickly. Determined, he clenches his fists, his face darkening with resolve. He swears to take revenge on those who betrayed him, his teeth gritting with the intensity of his vow. Meanwhile, outside the Demon Tower, the debris has attracted attention. Investigators swarm the area, two officers speculating on the identity of the monster slayer. "Could it be Lee Gun?" one of them asks. The other officer shakes his head. "We can't be sure." In another part of the city, a press conference is underway. Reporters crowd a building, shouting questions at Aries St. Young Wei. Is it true? Has Lee Gun returned alive? Young Wei dodges the question, muttering no comment before quickly leaving the conference. In his car, Young clenches his fists, his glasses snapping as he crushes them against the seat. "Lee Gun," he growls under his breath, repeating the name over and over, seething with anger. How could he have survived 20 years in that tower? He mutters to himself, "It's impossible." His body was already damaged from using his skills. and without the protection of the 12 saints. He pauses to light a cigarette, the weight of the situation pressing down on him. If he's really alive, everything is over. The scene shifts back to Lee Gun, now holding a phone, his expression unreadable. His revenge is only just beginning.